really need to tidy that up.
So reasonably optimistic, the Fremantle coach. His team down by 18 points, but if they can address those things, maybe we've got a ball game still to come this afternoon. Griffin and Jolly going at it. It falls out Barlow's way. That's possession number 11. The back of the pack, though, taken by Blair for Collingwood, who sends it towards half forward. Robertson over the footy, let it spill out the back, and over it goes. This in the ruck. Maybe it was Daisy Thomas at the end.
Friendly fight.
Quick kick out of the pack by the Magpies again. Here's Silvani over the football. Might have been pushed in the back. Goldsack's been lively. Handball outdoors way. Pierce back on the ground. Cross to Barlow again. Now Mzungu, defensive 50 when he kicks. He goes out wide and Clark marks. And that's better from Fremantle. Now this is where it has been breaking down. A long, quick one. That's the order of the day, and that's much better. Mark taken by Broughton in front of Maxwell, who turns quickly. Showing a little more intent down towards Pavlich. Badly outnumbered though. Reed there with Pavlich, and the ruckman doing well. Jolly to get down. Dishes to side bottom, and the clearing kick out towards Maxwell.
O'Brien leads Zach Clark to it. Picks up, does well, doesn't break stride, and fires the ball down the line. Ends up with Goldsack. Already kicked one this afternoon. Just measures his kick, does well to Swan. Got a loose man on in Blair. He marks 60 out. He's got a running side bottom, ignores him, just ducks back, runs to 50. Might goal here, Blair. Long ball, Wellingham off hands.
Good saving spoil there by Johnson. That was great running patterns from Showard Wellingham to come from the forward flank, Mick.
Oh, Tommy, when you see Blair take that mark and his man was 20 metres off him and wouldn't and couldn't make up the distance to get to him, that just shows you where they're at.
That's a terrible kick by Robert, and he kicks it to a nest of Magpies. They've got plenty of time there. Maxwell, it came across to Jolly, back to Maxwell, and now the mark is taken by Elliott. Outside 50, plays on quickly in the cloak direction. It bounced up and into his chest, but then off his chest and over the line for a throw-in.
Interesting article during the week on Jamie Elliott. Heap of off-field sadness and just enjoying his time on the field now. Hasn't been in a losing side as he's joined this Collingwood outfit at a good time. Quickly to Marley Williams. He goes around the corner. Thomas! Did he? Doesn't matter. The little sneak picks it up and goals. His first of the afternoon and the Pies fourth. So Daisy Thomas, we mentioned it earlier, slowish start with a couple of other Pies to the season. He's finding form at the right time. Just going back to Jamie Elliott, he hasn't missed since being selected in round 9 against the Crows. Marley Williams in the same boat as Ross Lyon, just watches on and tries to find some ideas to take on this Collingwood outfit this afternoon. Are on fire.
Yeah, quick kick in. Always know there's a contest there. Thomas could have been paid the mark, follows up and kicks the goal, but no opponent on him. Interesting, and that's the secret, to get one-on-one.
Griffin got high against Jolly again, but couldn't knock it clear, and we'll have another bounce inside the centre circles. So it's Collingwood by 25 points, and obviously Fremantle must get the next goal to have any chance of keeping this interesting. Side bottom, handball forward for Elliott, who's been involved in this game a bit. Back to side bottom. Was knocked away from Swan by McPhee. They kept coming. Marley Williams gets it. Swan again to Blair. Low and hard to Dawes. Johnson did well. Handball to Mzungu. Tough one for Lockie Neely. Somehow got it across to McPhee. Better running from Fremantle this time. What about the kick? A job for Broughton. I'm not sure if he's got the pace to go with O'Brien. Harry O'Brien gets a standing O for Harry O. And the kick across to Shaw.
Thomas loose. That's the way the ball goes. He's got Fasolo running past. Thomas ignores. Long, ugly sort of a high ball. Tough for forwards. A heap of white jumpers going back. But Dawes somehow, touch play on the call. Onto the left. Bouncing ball. Unlucky for Dawes.
It was unlucky for Dawes. On that one, Mick, we know what Fremantle are trying to do. They're trying to get some free defenders in the back half at the moment, but they're just actually positioning themselves in the wrong spot and not influencing the contest.
Tommy, there were 12 Fremantle players in the back 50, and there were 9 Collingwood, so that means it left 3 Collingwood players out here. So on the rebound, it's all got to fall to Collingwood. It's just a That's a recipe for absolute disaster.
Here's Griffin. He had his kick partly blanketed. That was brilliantly done at the back. Diving across was Elliott. Now the footy will go over the line to throw in. Let's have a look at this marking contest, and that's a good decision by the umpire. De Boer had his hands on it first, and then Dawes with the clean possession. Well done by the ump. The rucks tangle there. It cleared both of their heads. Another handball for Barlow. Quickly in and out of the hands of Mzungu. Side bottoms kick towards Williams. Here's Goldsack again. They've got the numbers, but it comes to Ballantyne. A bit lucky there, Fremantle, but they'll take the luck that they can get. Not a good kick. It clean bowls everybody in the middle of the ground. Maxwell then sliding into it. Well tackled by Barlow. Buckley got his handball away. Tuvey did nicely as well. Now Marley Williams with a long one down towards Cloak, and well read. That was brilliantly done by Silvani. Backing back into the traffic. He got back and helped McFarlane out. Then a handball to McFarlane, who gives it to Robertson.
The important part there, Baz, by Silvani was actually getting himself to the drop zone as opposed to the ball being kicked directly over his head where he couldn't influence the play.
Wide ball to McPhee. On the lead, Clark Brown. Desperate lunging. Spoiled. Did well. Spilt to Wellingham. Now to side bottom. Long ball inside 50. Who's there? Blair. Dawes front spot. Out the back it goes. Chance for Goldsack. Johnson did well. Mundy picked it up. Sent it wide. Cloak though. He received it. Went back to Beams. Can he finish for the Pies? Well, Beams is having some sort of a season. As soon as it went in his direction, you felt that he was going to finish. Coming off a good year, he's having a great year. Tough year, missing out on a grand final berth, but Beams, he's kicked 48 from 48 at the MCG coming into this game. He's now kicked 49 in his 49th. The breakout year.
That's the difference between the two sides at the moment. And Ross Lyon, the coach, spoke about it. That forward movement, the ball's coming in a lot cleaner for Collingwood. Beams is having a great year. And just on an injury update, Pearce has gone down to get an injection. Inside 50s 3-1 in Collingwood's favour, 21-7, and they're not far away from getting another one. The Magpies driving the football forward. And again, it is in the hands of their Brownlow medalist in Dane Swan. He got it from Fasolo, the East Fremantle boy. Here he is again. He kicks long, down towards full forward. It's got a bit on it. Thomas keeps the football in play. Now he's tackled by McPhee. Could be high, could be holding the ball. Interesting call from the umpire. Holding the ball. It was the latter. She's not happy. But I guess when the ump didn't pay holding the ball...
Imagine if she supported Fremantle.
It probably had to be. Clearing kick, not a good one. Maxwell fisting away from Main. Again, side bottom to Harry O'Brien. Crowd want him to have a shot. He doesn't. Payne got a handball away to Beams. Now to Jolly. They're queuing up. Here's Buckley. Throws it on the right boot. It's just across the face and to behind.
Well, without repeating myself, if you haven't got any players outside your back 50, inside anywhere near the centre of the ground, you can't support your back line because you haven't got the numbers there. So the back line end up raffling it and giving the ball back, and it's really a problem at the moment for Fremantle.
So, Mick, in the coach's box at the moment, are you sitting there thinking the dam wall is about to burst? I've got to make changes?
Well, I think the dam wall has burst, and I would say until you release that +1 player, you're going to be always under the pump.
We bring in the excavators. The dam wall has burst, and the Pies are trying just to continue to add to their 33-point lead. The Dockers win this one inside the Pies forward 50, but it's going to come back inside. Side bottom, all too easy, finds Dane Swan.
It's twofold, Mick, really, isn't it? Because Collingwood are setting up exceptionally well by having more numbers across their half-forward line, Freo's half-back line, if you like. But where Freo are being let down is they're not upholding their end of the bargain deep inside their forward 50. They're just allowing uncontested marks for Collingwood.
Yeah.
He got the first of the Pies afternoon. He's going to go across the face here. Jolly off hands, not quite. Spills, Jackson Payne. He can't wrestle it away, I think. Underneath all that is Billy Elliott. Kirky.
Yes, we've got Cloak down here just jogging a few laps around the sideline. He's had some ice on his right medial side of his knee. Looks like he's going to be okay, though.
Thanks, Kirky. Thomas flies through for one behind.
25 to 7 inside 50s for the game. I don't think you really need any other stat to show why there's a domination of 11 shots to 2.
And those inside 50s, Mick, 10 to 1 this quarter. It doesn't make pretty reading for Fremantle fans, or for that matter for those in the coach's box, and the ball's thumped over the line just outside 50. They could have another one very quickly.
There was an example of the kick in there, but that was just mirroring the general play as well, coming out long past the defensive 50, but to it outnumbering Collingwood's favour.
Griffin trying hard, wrestled his way to the front. It spilt to side bottom from De Boer, who kicked it inside 50 and now brought and taken high. So what about the setup then, Mick, from Fremantle? Obviously it is the Ross Lyons style, but it's just not working at the moment. Does he need to think about changing things up? Johnson in trouble, tackled front on, Solo got him, holding the ball. The advantage is allowed, and Jackson Payne will be credited with the goal. Oh dear, does not look pretty. And poor old Michael Johnson just caught in the back pocket, didn't know what to go and where to go, and I guess that adds fuel to that question. It's simply not working for Fremantle. This ultra-defensive style, they've got nowhere to go when they've got the footy in the back pocket. So what can they do to change things up?
This is a wider shot exactly of what Johnson's looking for. So he wants a release valve. He wants a nice uncontested kick to kick to and kick start and maintain possession, but not there at the moment because Collingwood are just setting up so well defensively.
So Jackson Payne, fourth goal, fourth game. Ballantyne goes inside 50, a rare foray. Blair, Swan, they work it around Mundy, takes it out of the air, slaps it forward. Main with a little give, hoping for Clancy Pearce to Barlow. Well, Ibbotson got wrapped up. Marley Williams was just sweating on him and waiting, and he took him to ground. Just Michael Johnson again running into all sorts of problems. Tackle was terrific.
Yeah, I just think that's treating your opponent with disregard. I just don't like that. I think it's very, very ordinary by Johnson.
Pavlich read the doors tap well, sends a high one up into dangerous territory. Dockers just need to find something, but look at all the pies on your screen. They're happy just to see their men fight. If they don't win, there's more waiting for the white jumper.
Sometimes it's pretty simple football, Hamish, and you just need to look at the screen. There are more Collingwood jumpers basically in every frame that we've got, and that's just a good indication of the intensity the Pies are playing with.
Pavlich out of the ruckus, just slides one along the ground, hits the upright.
Thanks, Scotty. Thanks, Chris.
So Shaw then to bring the football back in, and Blair is having some sort of afternoon as well, getting a lot of the footy. That's possession number 11. He chips it short, and the mark is taken by Beams, and already the football is at half back, and it's most likely going to go over halfway in the next couple of possessions, although they bring it back defensively to set up again. Here's Brown, back to Shaw. They've got the loose man on in Maxwell, something that Fremantle are just unable to get. Backward of the wing. It does go over halfway now, and the mark is taken pretty easily by Wellingham. Lots of space. He marks in front of Mundy. He kicks now inside 50. Cloak is the target. He gets high. McFarlane did well. Got a fist on there. Johnson to Subin. Got out of Jackson Payne's grasp. He had a bounce. Then with the left boot. Goes long and wide. Mzungu and Tuvi. Might have been some hanging on. The ball bounces back to Mzungu. Tuvi might have been a little bit lucky there, and this could be holding the ball. We've seen one like this already. Not that time, says the umpire.
You've pinned it in. Thanks, Hayden.
So the Dockers just trying to find some sort of a new formula to combat this Collingwood army. 6-6 to just 3 behinds.
If you ever look at a picture on the ground, you'll see Nick Maxwell's he's patrolling 30 metres from the ball. Goldsack's lateral to that, and Buckley's also forward lateral to that. So there's no escaping for Fremantle, and yet they're going to lack the number at the ball.
Marley Williams, one of the 4 2012 debutants on the ground, just pushes it forward. Barlow Reads it okay. Slides inside. Execution no good. Ends up with the skipper of the Pies, who was very self-deprecating in the papers this morning, saying he's the worst high-profile player in the game. With Mark Robinson in the Herald Sun, he is a premiership captain. And you speak to those close to the club, one of the great leaders in the game. Over the top to Goldsack.
Very interesting. They can't even go one-on-one, Fremantle, even on those little leads. The pace of Collingwood and the work ethic gets them. Goldsack played on outside the line, which is a bit silly. But it's probably the only mistake they've made all day.
They've been rare, haven't they, Pies mistakes today?
Called the play on and then went up the line, so out of bounds. Beautiful. Throw it in. Thank you.
So Goldsack, he's kicked one this afternoon, finds himself in defensive territory at the moment. Ibbotson, little squeezing ball into attacking 50. Barlow gets tackled by both Brown and Tuvey, taken to ground, and it's the way it's been all day. White jumpers being attacked by at least one, more often 2 or 3.
So still 9 minutes until half-time. Fremantle have been goalless only once in their careers at half-time. This is game number 393. Ball sent back down towards full forward, and Nick Maxwell, the self-deprecating captain, fisting it over the line for a throw-in at 6-6 to 4 behinds. Collingwood by 38 points. It is a drubbing so far at the MCG. And they were reasonably optimistic. We heard Ross Lyon at quarter time. He thought if they just fixed a couple of little things, they'd be back in the game. It hasn't been that way, and Johnson takes a good mark.
Johnson now is sending them forward. The lead is on from Main. Now this should be their first. We know what an outstanding set shot Chris Main is. He's within range, and
Hamish, this will give him a chance to say what type of day they're going to have.
Yeah, it will absolutely.
He's 12-12. Is it 12-12 or something like that? It's quite remarkable figures anyway. But
well, I think for the year, Mick, he's 22-2 and 13 straight from set shots.
Okay.
So 22-2, 13 straight. And as Mick said, if he misses, he might just have to put a heavy texter through round 14 for Fremantle. Well, all is well with the world. Chris Main doesn't miss. The Dockers get there first. So it's taken a while. 2 and a bit quarters since the last goal from Fremantle. That was in the third term against the Bombers. 7 minutes and change before the long break here at the MCG. Round 14 football, and Collingwood by 32 points. The Dockers, they've really struggled this afternoon, if you've joined us, all over the ground. The Pies, they look terrific.
And Chris Main continue his outstanding goal-kicking accuracy, especially from set shots. Really needed that one free. It's been highly labour-intensive at the moment.
That's Chris Main's first goal of his career against Collingwood. Beams out to Swan. The Tattoos getting involved. Kick towards Goldsack, who appeared to wait for it a little there. McPhee attacked it hard. It bounced across to Johnson. Then to Mundy. The kick out wide. O'Brien got an important boot in there. Handball close to the line to Sidebottom, and over it goes. It'll be thrown in. So, Mick, we mentioned the tactics and the ultra-defensive setup. Is it worth changing things up for Fremantle?
Well, it may well be, because someone's going to come off the ground injured through the middle of the ground. But they have to change up. You can't be 6 goals to 1 and think it's working for you and being satisfied with the result. There's only one way to actually put pressure back on players, and that's one-on-one football.
Lockie Neal in the arms of the trainers in the middle of the ground. He's being helped towards the interchange area, and the ball comes out to Mzungu. Ibbotson it was who got it from Johnson. Now he handballs over the top. Here's Pavlich, outside 50. We've got a whistle, and Zach Clark's got the free kick. So it's going to be 2 in a row for Fremantle.
If I have to say anything about Nathan Brown, he has got a habit of holding a long way off the ball.
They kicked the last one, Fremantle, and incredibly, from only 15 metres, that look says it all.
We said it about Chris Main, as we see Lockie Neal, is it? We said Chris Main might tell the tale of the afternoon.
Yes.
Zach Clark certainly did. Daisy Thomas onto the left boot he goes, looking for targets. He's got one on the lead. It's the small man in Jamie Elliott. He's been simply outstanding since joining this outfit. 5th game for the Pies, still not yet to see a loss in a Collingwood jumper. Must think AFL life is pretty easy to doors, off hands, and over out of side. So 6.5 minutes until the long break, and we see Lachie Neale again.
Yes, the ankle.
So the ankle, a problem for Lachie Neale, and the Pies, a problem for Ross Lyon right now.
Lachie Neale's gone downstairs. The doctor's going to check it out.
Thanks, Kirky. Adam McPhee. He's seen plenty over the Pies thrust forward. This time he stops and sends the ball back to the wing. Jolly's there, tries to give it to Marley Williams. Broughton was pretty good. One over the top to Crowley, now to Pearce. Harry-O with speed, picks it up, Pearce. Strong tackle. O'Brien tries to get rid of it. Umpire says, I agree.
There's a classical case of a Fremantle player under pressure and hand passes the football to another player under pressure. In fact, puts him under more pressure. Where you'll watch Collingwood, they'll actually bludgeon that ball forward with a kick and have their key forwards in position.
Jolly to Beams, a smother from Pearce.
You can feel that Fremantle have actually slowed Collingwood down here. What they need to do is actually get water for their effort now. Clark needs to go back and kick that. They need to get 1 or 2 before half-time.
Well, they're at the right end of the ground, Brett. They do need to get the next goal, though. It's got the feeling Pat Clark converted there. They may have had the opportunity to have a bit of momentum behind them. As it is, Subin to Johnson, carried forward by Goldsack, no free. Beams there, wrapped up in a tackle by Subin, and the ball will be bounced yet again.
There's a classic. Quick hand pass, straight to a player who's going to be under more pressure.
Free kick, maybe not, in the side.
Yeah, he rolled him.
Griffin got high. Crowley and then lower. They combine. The ball kicked towards the 50 into Mzungu's hands. Centering ball for Pavlich. The skipper stands up and takes a good grab.
Great grab, Basil. And can I just add that came about because of a quick kick forward that went 3 or 4 to 5 metres and someone was able to run onto it, as opposed to trying to keep the ball in close where you just know the numbers are going to swamp you.
It was an excellent grab, strong hands, 30 goals in Fremantle's last 5 wins at the MCG, so important to this team. He kicked 6 against Richmond back in round 11, and the skipper to give Fremantle 2 in a row. After all, unbelievably, the captain has missed.
It's 3 posters, I think. I don't know why you'd have a run up of Jeff Thompson's proportions when you only need to kick the ball 20 metres.
It's confidence sapping again, especially from the skipper, and he'd be really disappointed in that, Matthew Pavlich. But the signs are right. Mick's spot on, just getting the ball out in space. Really missing Morabito, Fife, Hill, these sorts of players at the moment, Frere. But they don't have them, so they need to get the ball in the hands of Mzungu and the like, who can actually break and carry the lines.
Well, the reality is, boys, it should be 3-6 to 6-6, and Fremantle should well and truly be back in this.
So Thomas, just a searching ball. In the end, Payne was a target. Johnson did best. To Barlow, into the middle, to Pavlich. Over the top, loose man. Zach Clark, heap of space. What does he do? It goes long. It's going to bounce. It's going to be all about the bounce, and the bounce is good. So they do go back to back. The margin now 24 points to the Collingwood Football Club. And Mayne and Zach Clark combine after a couple of misses. And well, if they could get another before half-time, an 18-point margin, I suggest, would probably flatter Fremantle.
Much needed goal from the Dockers, and it came from using the corridor and quick ball movement. That's what they need to continue to do.
13 minutes since Collingwood's last goal, and the margin is back to 24 points. So a mini revival here from Fremantle. Can they keep it going? Blair out of the middle, a high ball towards half forward. Wellingham was there for Collingwood. McPhee for Fremantle. It spills at the front to Crowley, to Mzungu, to Subin. And they move the ball on quickly. Pavlich to target again, 2 to beat. Tuvey one of them, and Reid the other. He got the football, and out wide he goes with a kick, and the mark is taken by Buckley. To Swan now. And here's Marley Williams, one of 3 Claremont boys out on the field for Collingwood today. The others O'Brien and Tuvey. Well done again by the defence of Fremantle. They've had plenty of work and plenty of practice at getting the football over the line.
Silvani's been the player for Freo who's actually got himself to the drop zone more often than not. There's still a few too many that are just plugging holes, goalkeeping as such. But Brett Kirk was right. If Freo can get the ball off the line, start to get some uncontested run, that's their best avenue.
So the footy's still alive now for Collingwood, although a handball across to Lower. It was blanketed, falls to Fasolo, and then ricochets back to Subin. Unbelievable. It is like pinball in there. Eventually Silvani with a clearing kick towards half-back. A bouncing ball now. Maxwell sliding into it. Williams over the football. Gathers did that nicely. Handball up and OK for Buckley, who couldn't get a clean kick away, taken by Mzungu. And now Broughton with a runner on in the middle of the ground. It's Main. Does he take it on? Nothing upfield. Nothing inside 50. Your view right now is his view. So he goes wide. And the mark taken by Crowley as they wait for numbers to push back.
They're all coming back now. Heath Shaw's dropped back. Dane Beams has dropped back. Darren Jolly's now dropped back for the Pies.
The skipper wants the football, but it's not really compelling. The standing lead, if you like, the arm waving, and eventually it's over the line towards the back. Goldsack kept the football in. He goes with a long clearing kick, and that's an excellent mark taken by Jackson Payne.
He's a very good mark. They've noted him for his marking, not so much on the ground, but he can take a really solid mark. Big, strong boy, first year of football from Sandringham, under 18s.
Where do you see him playing, Mick, over the journey?
Well, we've always worked on a theory that you've got to have a 3-3 forward line, and it puts real pressure on the opposition. And I think he's that marking play they need down there.
Cloak gets caught behind. Griffin couldn't take it. Spills to Blair. To Jackson Payne, who Mick was just talking about. Little one underneath players to Blair. Blair holds it up. And then inside 50, Dawes. Well, Silvani slipped not once but twice. And Chris Dawes had the easiest of marks. He's had a slow start to the year, Chris Dawes. We see Silvani once and then twice.
That's a nightmare as a defender. You know that at first slip, that's all your opposition player needs, but then you get the second, and there'd be terrible thoughts running through his mind.
Dawsey hasn't been the most reliable this year. This will be running through his mind at the moment. He does think about a lot of things, Dawsey.
2 goals, 8 from set shots, and he won't even register a behind, as his former coach tells us. He's an analyser, and it's been an interesting few minutes.
We've discussed in a Collingwood game earlier in the year, Mick, that super intelligent guy and overcomplicates it. Now I'll try to explain this to a friend of mine who would not buy that as a theory, but it is.
It's not a theory, Tommy. As you know, it is one of those ones where I think clearly he overanalyses, and if he hasn't had a good couple of weeks compared to last year at the same time.
Well, Swan with the advantage runs in and he misses. So up until that point, 2 goals, 4 to the Dockers in the last 17 minutes to no score for the Pies. That behind, a rare score for the Pies, but Fremantle haven't really been able to hurt. A lot of easy misses. The margin 25 points.
Coming back the other way, I guess a couple of let-offs for Fremantle. So 30 seconds remaining, and Fremantle will probably take this, a 25-point deficit at half-time. Mick Malthouse will have a bit to say about Travis Cloak at half-time. Looking forward to your views, Mick.
Yes, well, whether they're accurate or not is another thing. I don't know.
And some time with Scotty Pendlebury at half-time.
Ball kicked inside 50. Scoring might not be finished yet for Collingwood. We're down to 21 seconds. Here's Jackson Payne again. Little grubber kick taken by Barlow. McFarlane, they've been terrific in this first half under enormous siege. The kick from Subin, and Jolly marks. With 8 seconds left on the clock and counting. He sends it in long. Have they got a marker to bore through his hands? Siren sounds. And that will be the margin at half-time. Collingwood by 25 points.
So the Dockers, they was goalless in that first term. The Pies extended the lead, 18-25 at the long break. The Pies players on Mick Malthouse. We've got Scott Pendlebury, and we look at Travis Cloak this afternoon, as well as his future. Stay with us on Saturday Arvo Football from the G.